Hey everybody, today is April 30th, 2019. Tomorrow is May 1st, which is my 6 month uh, anniversary of basically how long I've been going. I'm considering the beginning of my journey November 1st for all further purposes. So tomorrow is my 6 months. So I did my weigh-in on Friday, and I am currently sitting at 413 pounds, which down from 490. I'm 77 pounds down in 6 months. I'm not going to weigh in tomorrow. I'm just going to count it from last Friday. So 77 pounds in 6 months. I feel really good. I'm very excited about the future. I'm still going to keep pushing for that June 15th deadline of getting under 400. It looks very reasonable now, just another 13 pounds, and I think I can totally do that. Obviously, if I reach that goal beforehand, I will adapt and I will make a new goal and I will continue to make new plans, but that's all I'm really shooting for right now. But real quick, I just wanted to talk about motivation. So for me, whenever I started my journey, I definitely didn't have a ton of motivation. Especially whenever I'm working out and doing all that stuff, my motivation is very up and down. Has a lot of peaks and valleys. And so just in most of my life, I've never had the motivation to continually go at it and make it a lifestyle and, really push myself to do something different. But basically, whenever I decided that I was going to start this journey, I was going to do a new attempt, a new try at all of this, I only really decided to do it because of two things, and it wasn't really a motivational thing. It was one that I was seeing everybody on Twitter posting, and it was kind of getting me inspired to do it, but it was never enough on its own for me to just start. And the second thing that I always kind of struggled with, and a lot of the reason why I was considering it, was because I was noticing whenever I would sit in places, whenever I would go places, there was less room for me, or I was taking up more room than I was used to, whether that be in a car and different seat in like an auditorium or a theater or a concert or something like that. It was definitely something I was noticing more and more, where like I was spilling over, or I was just taking up too much space. People would have to not be able to use the armrests and stuff, and that's something that makes you feel really uncomfortable as a person. It makes you kind of feel like you're not a person in a way too. And though that was like something that was really uncomfortable for me, I could have just continued to let it get worse and not really done anything about it. It wasn't ever really something where I was like, oh, I've got to change it because that's going on now, because it had always kind of been going on, but it was never enough for me to want to change it. But basically, what I've kind of learned is that motivation is something that some people just intrinsically have. Some people find it extrinsically, and you're able to find ways that motivate you. But for me, like, I've never really had an internal or an external motivation to work out. There's never really been anything for that. And if I find an external one, it really falls off after the first couple of weeks or even a month or so, and then I just go back to where I was. One of the things I've been learning is that sometimes you don't have motivation in life. Sometimes you just got to get off your butt and do something. And that's definitely been the case for me. I probably wouldn't consider myself motivated for this journey, maybe even half the time, maybe. And it's definitely one of those things where I will go work out and I feel so good afterwards, but if I am just not, in the swing of it, if I haven't worked out in a day, if I eat poorly, if I do something like that, then I'm just personally not motivated anymore. And then it's a lot for me to want to get back up and go back to the gym. I've really had to fight through that personally, because I don't really see a lot of motivation and ambition in that area specifically in my life, also in a couple other areas. And so that means that whenever I have to find the motivation for something I don't want to do or I don't like that, where I only want to do stuff that I do like and is easy or whatever it may be, I really just have to do the thing that I don't want to do. And that's one of the things that I always heard from someone that was an authority over me in college. He always used to say, a man is someone who does things that they don't want to do when they don't want to do them. And that's always kind of, struck a chord with me, because I was always like, that is something that I don't know I'm capable of. I'd like to be capable of doing things that I don't want to do when I don't want to do them, for instance, working out. And that's been something I've really been trying to take on in the past couple of months, is just like, hey, today you may not want to actually get up and go do leg day, because leg day is your least favorite day of the gym, and it's a Monday, and you have all the excuses in the world in your head to not go. But if you just get up and do it when you don't want to do it, it's done with. And then you don't have to put it off until when it's a absolute necessity and, you know, everything's already fallen apart because you didn't take care of it back in the day. And I'm just definitely learning that, like, hey, sometimes motivation comes and goes, but it's up to you as a person to decide to push through that motivation and just keep going down the road. I know that Casey Neistat talks all the time about just his motivation for life, his passion and ambition to do certain things. And it's just one of those things where he wakes up every morning and he has a drive to go do something, a drive to go create. And it's something he's always had, and, you know, it's something he always fights for and fights with. But, like, just me personally, that's not something I wake up every morning, I'm like, I gotta go work out, I gotta go create, I gotta go do this, I gotta go do that, you know? I could spend the whole day probably laying around and not doing anything, and I probably spend a lot of days doing that, honestly. But deciding to push through my lack of motivation, get better, do things that I don't want to do when I don't want to do them, you know, that kind of stuff is only going to lead to more improvements, to being a better person. So at the end of the day, this is the core of my message. If you take anything out of this video, I hope you get this out of it. If you are like me and you have issues with, you know, motivating and actually doing stuff and doing things that are uncomfortable for you, doing things when you don't want to do them, try it. The best thing you can do in your life is stepping out of your comfort zone. I definitely do not regret doing that with working out. Each time I've ever worked out, I have not regretted it one bit. I feel great leaving the gym. I feel great with my eating choices after the gym, especially because you want to make good choices after you've made a good choice in going to the gym. If you were like me a couple months ago and you're saying, hey, I definitely have an issue with this, I definitely cannot get myself off of my couch, out of my bed, and just go work out, just do something. Just change a little bit of how you're eating, change a little bit of how your day goes. Maybe walk around the block once or twice a day. Do something like that. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture. You don't have to go into the gym and bench 315 pounds your first time going in. You don't have to do something crazy. The best thing that you can do for yourself is to do something now and to do something before you can even give yourself an excuse and think about it. The biggest hindrance to yourself in your life is yourself. If you continue to say, I don't have motivation, I don't have this, I don't have all the right things lined up in order to do that, then you are never going to succeed. You are never going to get off your butt and do something. I, for so long, wanted to wait until the exact right moment to work out, until this specific date, this specific deadline, to push off past a holiday like Halloween or Easter or Christmas where I could eat wherever I wanted. But the most important thing is those are all excuses, and at the end of the day, you have to push through your excuses whether you want to or not to do what you need to do. That's definitely something I've had to take in, and I'm still learning myself, but it's something that's really helpful, not just in this area of your life, but in all areas of your life. There are going to be times you fall. There are going to be times where you eat the things you shouldn't be, where you skip the gym, where you are lazy, where you don't do the right things. But I promise you, if you do the right thing 9 times out of 10, heck, even 7 times out of 10, it'll pay off. And the more good choices that you make will snowball into better choices down the line that will also show massive improvement on the scale in your life, in your mood, in your ability to do things, and just your function and your functionality throughout all of your life. So that's what I have to say. Just get up, try it, do something. Just don't even think about it, just go. Yeah, so thank you guys for checking out my video. I'll probably try to do an upload schedule around this, kind of a bi-weekly update on where my progress is at, how I'm doing. I think weekly is just a little bit too much for me right now, but you know, maybe twice a month, maybe once a month. I'm still figuring it out, but if you like it, I'd appreciate dropping a like, maybe subscribing if you haven't already. Also, if you think someone else could, you know, benefit from seeing this video, I would also appreciate if you share it around with people that you think would actually appreciate this video. It definitely means a lot that you took the time to come and watch this, and I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. All right, bye-bye.